It's all you, Guy.
Hello. Welcome to our show. It's us doing Chaucer. So I'm here with just about everybody and their uncle, except that we are actually missing Dustin's uncle, who plays usually in our game. So we're here with everybody except his uncle. So we got our entire crew here, and thanks for joining us on Rocky Mountain Geek Tank. And we will turn the show over to the GM, who is Dustin. And I don't know, you'll have to wave, Dustin, because I don't know where you're positioned on her screen.
I'm somewhere.
You're
He
in the
is
middle.
at the bottom left corner, and then we have Richard up at the top left corner. Guy is the big face in the middle. To his right is Luna up top. And then there's Nathan Hunter on the bottom right. And then Joe is above me. And then it's me.
Well, Joe's above you because he's a Commodore.
Totally.
That's why.
All right.
They'll promote
right.
anybody.
Yeah. You were over Unger, and he was Unger done.
Give me a clearance, Clarence.
Roger.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to actually hand it off to Joe because Joe is going to do a recap for us in the best kind of recap voice that he can, and then he will go into his start date and what is happening currently with his intro.
All right. Commodore's log, stardate 24361.63. Admiral Jameson has assigned the USS Chaucer, Russell, Fletcher, Thresher, Volkov, and Redemption, essentially his entire armada, to respond to the planet Badlands, which has recently been, to some degree, taken over by the Summer Sun Mercenary Company. Our mission, to convince the locals at the planet Badlands to join up with the Federation rather than the Summer Sun Mercenary Company, despite the fact that Summer Sun Mercenary Company owns one of their two spaceports and has thousands of troops on the planet. We will be departing in 6 hours as soon as we resolve some issues with one of the ships that has had a computer problem, possibly relating to a security leak. We plan to depart at midnight, which will be stardate 24362.36. End log. And I believe we left off, we had done some work with the captain of that ship, but we still had a little bit to do. Chelsea, you were kind of heading up that investigation.
Yeah, so I was trying to figure out, by distracting the crew, if someone on board had actually sabotaged the ship. But as far as I could find out, it was no one on the crew, and it's no one that they know. So we kind of surveyed the ship with some security members. We had kind of started a little bit of like a verbal sparring match on board, just to kind of get everybody distracted so I could peek into people's minds. And nada. Like, really, not much was found out. So we still don't really know how the security breach was caused, and now we're just trying to make sure that the comms are secure again so that we can go on this mission.
And we sent some of our computer people over to look at their stuff. I don't remember if we resolved that. And at some point, I have to have an interview with Captain Efren of that ship because he knows we're going to investigate it, which means unless we want him to figure out that little dispute that took place in his engineering department was a distraction while the doc there read his mind, I need to do something that he will interpret as that investigation.
Yeah. So if you want to come aboard and get started while the rest of the computer people are still checking stuff out, that's fine to do now, because I've done all I can here at this time.
Okay. Do we have Sal Massath over there checking stuff?
If you want me to be, I'm happy to.
Doc, you're heading the investigation. I know I've given you Valar and Bimler to NPCs that are good computer people.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah,
and
that's
then-
fine. Let's bring everybody that we can aboard because we do need to figure this out before we go. We want to make sure our systems are secure.
Okay. And then Nate gave you a couple of his Makos, but their job was to start an argument. We've already done that.
Yep.
Do you need character sheets on any of those we'll sent over to you?
I don't. Not at this time, no.
Okay.
Well, if we have two NPCs actually doing the securing of the computer systems, do you want me investigating to see if there's any signs as to who might have how the breach was enacted there?
That would be good because, yeah, right now we don't know what happened or how.
Okay.
All
So
we know
that's-
is there was a breach, and that's the biggest problem at this time.
I think I'm gonna start to see if there's any like trail of information as to whether it was done remotely or where it was done from.
Because my biggest search was the who of this equation.
Now you have to refresh my memory. Which ship was this breach on? This was on one of the Mirandas, wasn't it?
Correct. It's on the Russell.
Mm-hmm.
Did the Chaucer pick up any transmissions in that area that were? Can I go through the logs and see if I can pick up any residual transmission issues, like something that was transmitting in or broadcasting in that I would have
One
seen?
thing about that is we were not with them at the time that it happened.
And we would not be able to see that. That's right. I remember this whole.
Well, I
thing.
don't know. We might be within range. I don't know where they were. We were at the time.
No, they were separate. You just got the task force together in the past couple hours, and that's when their glitch was happening.
That's right. I remember this now.
So
It didn't involve us at all.
So to try to backtrack, if it's even possible, how the security system was breached, what do you need me to do, Dustin?
With let's see, because Chelsea was taking the lead on it with her character because you weren't there. We can swap that out now that we have Luna here. You
Yeah,
want
and
to do that,
She
Joe?
was doing more of a scan with people. I'm doing more of a scan of the computer system, so that can happen simultaneously.
yeah.
So we don't.
Got it.
So we don't have to retcon. Let's leave Dr. Lupine in charge of the overall investigation.
Okay.
And she handles the people, and Commander Masathan in charge of the technical aspects of the investigation.
All right. Let me get a baseline here for the technical issues. One moment. And ooh. All right. So I got a 2 and an 8 over here. So it's going to take a little bit of work here. Let's see. Let's go ahead and do reason and security for me.
Who? Luna?
Luna. Yep.
Yeah, I'm just pulling up a roller. So I got a 12 on the die, and my number is a 12. So I know that's not a very good thing, but it should be right where it needs to be.
Well, and you're rolling 2 dice, 2d20.
Well, the 3 is a lot better.
The 3 is a lot better. It still doesn't beat my 8 and a 2. So it's going to take you probably going directly over to the Russell to see what's going on. That actually gives you a clue on that it is something corrupted on the hardware level. And usually that's not a good thing. Someone actually had to do something.
Okay. So, yeah, I guess I'll see if I can go over there. And I'll pass that information on to
Do you want to have the task force roll out while they're over there looking at that, or you want to keep the task force not rolling yet until that's resolved?
I gave us 7 hours. How much time do we have left?
Well, go ahead and roll for me, Captain, to go ahead and give me control and command. And roll low.
Control and command.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm trying to hit under a 15. I have, oh my god. I have 2 aces.
And that is how you roll, sir. Wow.
Yes, when we're in combat, I'm going to roll 2 20s.
Uh-huh. You have whatever time you need because you have the right people on the right job. They're going to get momentum to do what they need to do. We can hand that out. Let me double check my little cheat sheet here. Because when you ace, you're going to be able to hand that out. Let's see. So, yeah, go ahead and let's give an extra +2 to both what Luna's doing and what Chelsea's doing. Come on over. You were giving my uncle a whole bunch of hooey that he wasn't here. He's here, and he's got his character sheet in his hand.
Everybody and their uncle is now here.
Everybody and their uncle is now here.
Wow, he should get points for that.
Uh-huh.
Give
I waited a long time for that, Tim. I waited a long time. I had to work hard on that setup.
It was a good setup, and it has paid off.
Yay!
Paid off.
All right, so if you don't want to play, you can at least watch us live. We're streaming out to Facebook.
No, I was just going to let you know I was going to have a snack and just take a low and easy evening.
Oh, we're not doing dinner?
No, Jill's not hungry.
Oh, okay, cool. Then I will do Catch as Catch Can.
That's your grandmother.
It is. All right, excellent. So we are still playing. Here we go.
And we're rolling. Wait, I'm rolling. No, I'm not rolling.
I grabbed my dice just so I could roll.
See, then I get the metal dice. Something very satisfying about the metal
I'm
dice.
using a lovely
Yes.
computer program. Unfortunately, that means I can't show it off to what Hashimoto just did.
Yeah, I've probably used up my luck for the whole session.
That's how it goes, though. You get a really good roll, and the next one's just a total bust.
Probably shouldn't let me actually handle the helm question.
I mean, that's been a constant question. Why
Yes.
why are you a commander again?
It's bribery.
And not even you bribing. It's just somebody else bribing.
Somebody else keeps bribing people. Stop bribing
Nobody
people.
likes me.
I don't know. I've seen Discovery, so I feel like they may not have made the best choices at some point in time.
Starfleet's not hot on the best choices.
No,
No,
they're like, this looks
no.
like a questionable choice. Let's do it. Bam!
And that's everybody's positioning.
Yep.
My basic plan is I'm going to let the technical people do what they do, and I'll do that interview in the one of the Chaucer conference rooms with the captain while they're
Cool.
doing what they need to do on the Russell. So
So are we within beaming range of the Russet, so I can get there instantaneously?
Oh, yeah.
or
We're
is-
right next to them.
Yeah,
yes,
you guys are all rallying.
with the information that it's hardware, I'd like to pull those components and replace them if you can.
Oh.
Ooh, give me a roll on that, Luna. We've got all the time because he did so good on command, so it's not like you're under a crunch.
Do you want an assist on that? Because I can assist.
Well, she's getting the +2.
What
you
is
take
my
the-
skills for that?
Yeah, we're going to be doing insight, and let's go ahead and do insight and engineering because that's pretty decent for you.
Good. I'm at a 16.
Mhm.
Well, the first one was a 3. And and the next one was a 5. So
All right.
probably
So
pretty good.
basically, yes, we can do the classic sabotage. Definitely happened.
Definitely
Well,
happened.
since I'm taking the parts and replacing them, it sounds like I should have time to examine those later.
And go ahead and give me an on that one a insight and a security.
13. Ooh. 19 on the first roll,
Oh,
and 14 on the second roll. So yeah,
All right.
I don't think
Offsetting
I
our double aces right there.
If the saboteur craps out here, you'll get it. But if they, of course, do an awesome, they have covered their tracks. Let's see what I got. I have, just so we
Must be
have
high.
it there. I don't know if that's going to even work, but yeah, I've got an ace and an 8.
oh.
Okay,
So.
well, that's better than me.
Actually, that's pretty hot. That's where I'm going to roll my dice so I can start showing them off. That works.
I just have
So
to get you a
yeah,
second
the
camera
the
so you can
saboteur
show-
covered their tracks. You have no idea how, why, when, where, or what, but you know you
Cool.
have a hunk of thunk, and you have fixed it.
Well, Captain, I have good news and I have bad news.
Okay, go ahead.
Which would you like first?
Give me the bad news first.
Well, the bad news is whomever did this is really good, and there is nothing I can find on it. Like,
Okay, can you tell me, did it have to be done in place? Someone had to be on the ship to do the sabotage. Is that correct?
That is correct.
yeah, I mean, it was done to the equipment. It's just, I don't know by whom or even what species.
Okay. Let's assign
What I
Bimler.
can tell you is I replaced the parts, though, so they should be working now.
Good. Okay.
Was successful.
Let's install some security measures in case someone tries to do some kind of similar sabotage in the near future, that it will alert us. And let's assign Bimler to see who accessed that section of the ship, to kind of go through the logs of who's been in that area in the right time frame, and see if he can dig something up. Go ahead, Doc.
So, really quickly, we should request logs of who was on the ship, and maybe we can see if there's a trace of, like, I don't know, footprints, fingerprints to go through so we can eliminate people, because we know it's not somebody well known on the ship, but maybe they've erased all trace.
I can bring the parts back if you guys want to look at them for forensic stuff. That's kind of out of my...
I would like that.
But
Please
my
do.
hands are all over them, just warning you.
That's fine. We
No,
can
No,
take.
but I might be able to identify the purpose of them or some concept behind them. I recommend that Captain Thushless and I look those over.
Are we doing this on comms?
It's up to you. You rolled the 2 aces.
No, I'd like to be doing this in person.
Okay,
Somewhere
well then I
that
would
we
have
control.
moved back.
Yeah, with the 2 aces, I let you retcon how you want that to go.
Okay. So let's do this. Let's get a full forensic investigation of the area that was where the sabotage was done. So we're looking for fingerprints, DNA traces, all those things. Let's get a search through the Russell's logs of who had access to that area, who accessed it. And then if we can narrow the list down to some kind of reasonable number, Doc, can you arrange an interview, a very brief interview with each of them, and see if their mind is okay? Poke in there and see if there's anything going on.
Okay,
if there's
yeah.
any influences, or if they're lying about anything.
Yeah, we can definitely do that. And then Tassar and I can work on just like the forensic side, because we've done forensic stuff before, and we both know biology pretty well. So
Good.
Vinka could talk to him and find out what's going on. Talk to the crew if there was anything crazy going on, maybe.
We've
You mean
chatted
just
with the
casually?
crew. I mean, the crew doesn't seem to know kind of what's going on. Most of the people on deck and the upper staff don't think that it's anyone on their ship and they don't have any knowledge, and we've already cleared them. But maybe some lower staff, maybe an engineer came through here and nobody thought any different of it. So, Hashimoto, when you talk to the captain, you should see if anyone's done any ship repairs lately and get a list of names so that we can eliminate most of this crew.
I will do that.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it does seem like these ships are routinely in and out of the starbase. So there are a number of possible leads, one could argue. An infinite number of possible leads.
The
The
biggest
one
thing.
thing
Go ahead.
do
Sorry,
know-
Luna.
Oh, the one thing we do know for sure is this had to be done physically from these cards. So it was someone who had access. Now, that's not to say they couldn't have done this elsewhere, but they did it here.
And most of the time, there's a log that follows that. So there's a little bit of data evidence, but there's also physical evidence. So combining those things, we should be able to find someone. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Unless they were supposed to be here, which will make it harder.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll make it much tougher.
Captain Core,
Yep.
I need you to run over the other ships. The Fletcher and Thresher, the Volkov and the Redemption, and the
Yep.
Chaucer. And let's check on any maintenance, and let's go through similar systems and have their own crews go through their systems and see if any similar sabotage has been performed on the other ships.
Roger.
Okay?
Give me a die roll there, Richard, of a control and command.
And I have a question.
All right.
Is the tech that Luna pulled out of the system, is it on par with the usual tech? Is it new? Is it old?
It basically is a module. If you remember how they have all the modules of isolinear optical chips,
Mhm.
this is a module that had been redone with different isolinear optical chips. That was, and then when it ended up doing a little self-destruct after it did what it needed to do.
Okay, gotcha.
So
I just
that
wanted
gives
to
you
see if
your
it stuck
visual.
out.
Yep.
So yeah, we want to look for something similar in all of our stuff, which means we may have to do a routine maintenance check of all of our cards to make sure.
Core,
Um,
go through all vital systems on the entire task force.
Okay.
Now, all those little modules are interconnected, and if you remember, geez, you have a whole wall of them in engineering in every ship. So, and then some, and redundancies. So, when they say level 1 diagnostic, usually that's a software diagnostic. This is a level 1 physical diagnostic to go through any logs if modules and isolinear optical chips are swapped out, and what for.
One engineering diagnostic.
Yeah, that's that kind of audit takes a lot of time.
And Tasara, we should implement on all ships that we have security personnel that we've cleared in these engine rooms from now on.
I agree.
Assign security and engineering from now on? Yes. Actually, I have some orders for the task force related to that.
Okay.
Senior staff and critical posts to be armed while on duty. Captains may authorize all crew to be armed on or off duty at their discretion, and maintain yellow alert throughout this from this point forward.
Oh, wow.
There will be a certain amount of fatigue depending on how long we stay at yellow alert.
They can make appropriate adjustments to make sure the crew stays rested. Can you well, you've got other things to worry about. I'll have Mohinder coordinate that.
And the roll that I made is I made a ace and a 4.
All right. So when you're coordinating all that, you literally have a data pad just giving you full reports. You are good at micromanaging this.
All right.
So that now you have a decision there, Task Force Commodore. You ready to roll, or you want to do something different?
I think we're going to leave at midnight like we planned, unless that diagnostic, how long is that going to take us?
Oh, for some of these poor ships, a day.
Okay. We will do it en route. We'll just travel at Transwarp 7. That makes the journey 29 hours and 20 minutes.
The Oberst can do standard warp 8.
We're going to scale it back to 7 to give us time to finish the diagnostic. Unless the Admiral objects.
Well, the Oberst can only do standard warp 8.
Oh, standard warp 8.
Yes.
Oh, that has an effect on the landscape.
Yep.
Okay. That makes it vastly different. We can leave on time because it's going to take us a couple days to get there, if not weeks.
I might recommend, Commodore, that
You and the Mirandas are okay.
I
let's-
recommend that we split the ships up and potentially arrive at different times. A
I
large
think that's
task
good.
force of multiple ships arriving would certainly tip the hat of anyone watching, especially at the speed that we will be going.
Yes, I think, though, we were supposed to arrive in force. The Admiral wanted us to be noticed.
If that
In
was
that
part
way.
of the plan, then it will succeed.
Yeah, the Mirandas and the Chaucer are going to have no problem getting there with Transwarp. They're all upgraded and outfitted. But these are the old Obersts that were on this side of the quadrant when this starbase got built.
The Redemption, I assume, has Transwarp because it's been zipping along with us.
Correct, and it's the only Oberth that has, and that's because Garvik made it so.
Right. Okay. So that just leaves the Volkov.
Not to question.
The Volkov will take 4.8 days to get.
Okay.
I think we're just going to leave the Volkov and tell them to catch up.
All right.
I was going to say, I don't know if we want to send one of our fastest ships to do some recon while the rest of them arrive.
I think the fastest ship is our ship.
It is.
I would- Can the Mirandas do Transwarp?
The Mirandas can do Transwarp 8. They can push 9, but then that's shaking them apart.
Okay, gotcha.
Please don't shake apart the ships.
No.
I don't have to deal with all that.
By the way, one other thing, we do have all the Chaucer shuttles armed and ready to scramble. And I'm going to also tell the other captains, first priority is the diagnostic, but arm your shuttles if you're able.
Are we expecting a fight as soon as we get there, or are we just doing a show of force to shake out these?
Doctor, we are always expecting a fight.
You know what I mean?
Our plan
Sorry.
is not to fight, but we're going to be ready.
Okay. Should I make a secondary med ward just in case for extra casualties?
That's not a bad plan. Yes.
Okay. So I'll make that on one of the emptier decks, and I'll station some Marines there along with a couple of my doctors, just so that we have that ready while all this other stuff is happening.
Okay.
So, and I'll grab some of the field medics from the Marines as well.
Our Mako's on board. We don't have any Marines, and our Makos we only have
Oh,
the 2
20.
slots.
right.
Yeah.
We became so much smaller.
Yes. But we have a larger security force.
Smaller detail.
I'm so used to, like, I have my 500 Marines and my 100 field medics, and everything's going to be fine. It's not going to be fine.
No, that was a season and a half ago.
I
like 18
know.
months ago.
I know.
We
I'm
got a
still
total
just
of
like,
20 Makos and 4 field medics.
But Commander Tessera is correct. We have a larger Starfleet security contingent on this ship.
My
Okay.
people should be fine. More
All
than
right.
adequate.
And
Perfect.
and the Makos, they're a little more rough and tumble than even Marines in a lot of cases, because they're not they don't have to deal with the Starfleet chain of command.
oh, okay. Cool.
That's why I wear this different uniform, because I don't have to report to the same people.
That's why you get away with so much shit now.
Yes.
Because the Marines still at least had to follow under what Starfleet said.
Anything relative to this discussion.
When Starfleet has problems, the Makos fix it.
However, I do think that the Commodore is correct. We should reserve our Makos for special teams deployment.
Okay.
I'll make sure that you have enough people protecting your area.
That's why the diplomatic attaché hangs with them, because that's good diplomacy right there.
I have a horrible history with diplomatic attachés. Please keep them far away from me.
He runs around and goes, "Don't run, we're your friends," and then we go. Oh.
That's why I'm here.
Don't run, we're your friends. Zat, zat.
So rude.
Captain Toothless, I question your tactical positioning sometimes.
That's definitely a way to build long-term allies.
It's a requirement that we have to always start with diplomacy.
It's better than having two half Klingon, half human twins.
True.
Yeah, true.
Can confirm.
Yeah, this diplomatic attaché hasn't gotten anyone pregnant that we know about.
Yeah, I have in the prison.
He's right there.
Yeah,
I was about to say that.
Why do you
Yeah,
guys
but
keep doing this to me? I have to
didn't
deliver
result in
these
a
children. I don't want to deal with this. Okay?
That character has a player here.
Yeah, sitting on
That's
this-
Luna's character. That's maybe a conversation the two of you should have.
Oh wait, what?
Oh yeah, we have to fill Luna in on that. You may want to get her
Oh,
up to speed on that. The Denoblians.
You spent some time in prison.
Right, I know that. I would like to know.
Apparently, your character dropped the soap.
I feel violated.
So,
You dropped the soap and things down.
Oh no. That is the worst way to find out. I feel like that could have been better.
Luna, here's what happens. The Denobulans were driving the non-Denobulan prisoners crazy, so they got segregated and locked in solitary together.
Oh,
What happened after that, I don't really know.
They
I
just
know
raise
too
you
much.
really cares to as they always do.
all I know is they were smiling ear to ear when they came out.
Somebody decided to share that with me when you came out, by the way. So I know all of the details. And as your physician, I don't ever want to hear about that ever again. Okay? I
Right,
don't
but,
need to know every detail.
as my physician, how difficult would it be to terminate this pregnancy?
Wow.
As a
What,
single
about
woman
that?
who don't need no man, I'm happy to discuss this with you in a private channel. But it can be done.
I mean, it was fun while it was lasted. We were locked in quarantine. Stuff happened. But, you know.
That is no excuse to be irresponsible and bring a child that you cannot care for into this world.
Hence why I'm
universe.
not going to bring that child into this world. So we have to talk about how this works.
We also have to discuss with the other donor.
Well, he's
It's the
here.
woman's
He
right
can talk
to
to her.
choose. He doesn't have to make this thing grow inside of him. You want to make this thing grow inside of me? Because I'm happy to transfer it to you.
That may actually work with the Denoblians.
I think I can assist with that. I think I can assist with that.
What is the gestation period for a Denobulan?
I'm just gonna penguin this baby onto its
I
dad.
think that's totally a memory alpha thing.
I'm looking now.
Yeah.
Fiction
You want to make a roll on the diagnosis there, Lupin?
Yeah. Let me pull up my character sheet.
This
what
is
am-
a different tangent.
What am I doing? I'm guessing science
This is
and...
going to be daring. and science.
Oh God.
Oh, I'm sorry, daring and medicine.
While you're away.
Yeah, daring
Okay.
and medicine.
Daring and medicine. Here we go.
I don't think
All right.
anyone's ever combined those two.
I have a 10 and a 14 on the die. Daring is an 8 and my medicine is 5. I don't remember what bonuses those give me.
All right. Well, with the Chaucer's brand new systems, it thinks it'll help you out with it with the 2 and a 12.
Okay. So, does the donor of half of this organic material want to carry this baby to full term and raise it by himself?
There we go. All right. So, is this something that needs to be done before you warp out, or
how long is this going to take?
This is something we would have done on the way back from the rescue.
I'm going to assign another medical staff person to do this because I already know. No, you know what? I know so much about this baby already, how it was made. It was like I was there. So I'll get this done.
That's the bonus of being Bedazed.
Bonus or hardcore hindrance? Because I'm going to call it a hardcore hindrance.
Depends on who you are.
Depends on
The
what you're
person who has to deal with your shit.
While we're discussing this, I just want to read something here from Memory Alpha.
Oh, God.
Excellent.
Married denobulants could be intimate with anyone they choose. The females emit powerful pheromones during their mating season. Male denobulants often become combative during this time, and mating could require medical supervision.
Oh, so it's just like the Klingon incident. Great.
Yeah,
There's some
and if the
similarities.
person sells a rockin', don't come a knocking. That's what happened.
It's gonna make a cleaner.
But nothing here is telling you
If they were in isolation, that was easy.
That's why they went in isolation. She started emitting pheromones. He started getting combative, and they got isolated.
I'm glad she's not too injured, or we would have had to have a discussion.
He wasn't going to injure me. He was just going to injure everybody else.
Yeah.
The entire prison.
Yeah, it doesn't say who they did aggressive to.
Oh, no.
See those marks on his neck? My fault.
I am a commanding officer and I know too much. I need an adult. And Hashimoto, don't you dare tell me you're an adult because you are not an adult.
I'm practicing my ability to keep our heads separate right now.
I'm gonna headbutt you so bad in the middle of the night you don't even know what's coming. Boom.
So, yes, if you need to retcon the logs there, Commodore, to account for the baby swap, feel free.
So how did this come out? I was reading, so I missed some details.
So baby is going to be transferred to the male donor, and he is going to carry this child to term and raise it as a single parent because that is his decision.
Okay, then.
He looks so ready to be a dad.
Yep. It'll be good.
All right.
Oh, God.
If all things are universal about Star Trek, we will have a full-grown Denobulan in 2 seasons.
Right.
He's like 7 by the time he shows up on the show.
All right.
That kid's going to be on the bridge.
Alexander, Molly.
All of them, yeah.
But not Wesley.
On the age and birth. So right now, Vinka is carrying this child somehow in his body. You transplanted it.
Mm-hmm. I did that.
You installed a womb and put the baby in there.
He wanted it.
Sitting on the egg or something.
It is cutting edge science. Don't ask me to explain it because I don't
we
want
have an
to.
incubator on the ship?
You know what? Here, I'll just show you. Here. This is how it happened. This is how this works.
You asked for it.
Yeoman, can you bring me a fresh uniform? I spilled coffee on this one.
You deserve that. You
You're not
asked.
wrong. Okay. All right.
I need a nap.
I think you are entitled to a nap.
And extra shore leave once this all is over.
I recall Hashimoto taking shore leave specifically for the purpose of being light years apart.
I know a place where you can have like 200 plus days of shore leave. Not really what I was looking for in shore leave, but it happens.
Oh my god.
Okay.
All right. So that happened.
Yes. So that's all been done, and now Vinka is pregnant.
Okay.
That makes the conversation with the Admiral that much more awkward.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, Commodore, have any of our conversations with the Admiral not been awkward?
No.
I think we were like saying as we were going into the meeting, like, let's have this awkward conversation.
They're always awkward.
Always awkward.
Then one could argue that this will be status quo.
That is a very valid point.
To be
It might
fair,
be a little more awkward.
this is an intra-species matter. He doesn't have to be involved.
He didn't ask.
No, he didn't. Thank God.
I kind of think Admiral Jameson is the type of guy that's smart enough to know when not to ask questions like that.
He usually doesn't from our crew. He usually just doesn't ask because there's no reason to. He will get in
He's a smart man.
way too much information. He'll get in way too over his head, so. It's fine. Oh my god.
All right. Well, now that awkwardness is established, where are we with our project?
Now that we've had that fade out, fade in to the past,
Oh my
we
God.
can return to now.
Oh, yeah, that was a good flashback. All right. Yep, totally. Yeah, Wayne's World moment. All right. So, Captain, Core, give me another roll, please.
For what?
We are looking for. We're looking for insight and security.
All right. All right. That is a 3 and an 8.
Yeah, you don't need to worry about it because that happened to the GM. I need to see how bad that happened to the GM. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
Bad enough. Okay. So, how do I do this? Since Tim didn't want to play, I'll just do it to his ship. So the redemption. You have gotten reports from the engineering department of the redemption that they are going to need to eject the warp core, and you're getting this throughout now the fleet.
All right. Well, then I'm making sure that the.
Huh?
Are we in motion?
yet?
No, because you never
Okay.
said go.
And
All right,
we need
well-
to make sure they're a safe distance away from everything else.
Yeah.
And then lock down their ship.
Why are we ejecting the warp core?
They're having to because, needless to say, with the 220s that the saboteur just rolled, they screwed up.
Oh,
So is security still on that ship?
Yes, and we're gonna double check that here real quick too. Let me do this. With a 14 and 10, that's not gonna happen. All right. So security is alerting back to you, Core, that they have apprehended someone tampering with the warp core. They are going to put them into custody and evacuate engineering.
All right. Also tell them to lock down the ship. And I'm also going to pull Commodore Hashimoto to the side and tell him about all this. And figure out who I should send over there to go interrogate.
I'm going to go ahead and roll based off of Garavik here real quick and see if they get are able to move the ship quick enough, get the warp core dumped, and come on back on impulse.
Okay.
Let's see. Supervisor and push the limits, so that's okay there. And Starship Combat Strategy and Tactics on a focus, so this isn't too shabby. So control and command. I'll do the high one. There we go. We got a 2 and a 7. So yes, warp core has been ejected, exploded. Everything's okay. Ship is intact, and it's away from everything else.
All right. So then, I also relocate the. Basically, pull Commodore aside and tell him all of this.
All right. The security detail is able to report that they have a lieutenant junior grade. They believe that his name was falsified. He's an Afrosian.
Don't pull the mask off. He's not really actually Rene Auberjonois.
That was pretty good. I like that.
All right.
I will look back through the logs to see if there were any signals in or out. Since the ship now has been near us, that should be much easier for me to track.
Actually, the Afrosian president that you're thinking of from Star Trek VI, on a side note, that was the actor who played Red on that 70s show.
Yep.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
He also played in Voyager. In
Yes.
You're at Hell.
Yeah, Anorax, I think.
Yep.
There's my encyclopedia knowledge of Star Trek. That just...
We're just saying.
Just saying.
I'm still over here catching up on Deep Space Nine.
What season are you on over there?
Odo just found his home planet last episode.
Oh, then it's just getting warmed up.
It's
Yeah.
just warming up. That's
Cisco still sucks, but he's getting better.
Now it's just about to get interesting.
Oh, yeah. From here on, it's perfect.
Awesome.
Yep. You have made it through the slog.
Yay! And I still like the show.
Yeah, it's not horrible. I mean,
It's not
just
bad.
horses
It's just
for
kind of...
horses.
Mm-hmm.
And Alan Moraine.
I'm realizing I need
Move
to
on
watch
home.
a lot more of
Move
the
on.
later TNG.
Yeah, season 3 through 7 are perfect television.
Lovely episode.
Mm-hmm.
The further end of TNG is a slog. Blah.
Well, that's why I stopped watching it. But now that I'm watching Picard and coming up with all this stuff, I'm like, oh, I maybe need to know what they're talking about.
Just watch Nemesis and then forget it.
Mostly is Inner Light.
And I'm one of those heathens who actually likes Nemesis.
Okay.
It was the first Star Trek film I
Dislike
saw
Nemesis
in
for the
theaters.
same reason I dislike Into Darkness. They kept trying to do we're remaking Star Trek 2. This is another Star Trek 2.
Fair.
And then it wasn't. And you're like,
And it was a bad idea.
yeah, stop doing that. Just stop.
Okay, that was a fun tangent. All right, Commodore, back to reality here.
Do we have a name on this Afrosian?
No, it looks like it was a transfer from the starbase, but they can't figure out where he actually came from.
Okay,
And
let's.
he's not talking.
He's not talking? Ooh.
Nope.
So Sarah,
that
you're in
sounds-
charge of the interrogation. Take Dr. Lupine with you.
Aye, aye.
Do it on their ship. I don't want any personnel transfers right now.
Understood.
And Captain Core, let's see if you can pull records on this guy's movements and see if we
All
can
right.
figure out if he is actually a Starfleet officer or if somebody's replaced an officer. If we're missing a lieutenant, I'd like to know where they are.
All right.
If someone can pull where he's been on record in the last several days, I'd like to examine all of those spots to see if they've also been sabotaged in some way.
Yes, excellent. Can you feed that to the engineer, Captain?
Yep.
Thank you.
I'm
right.
also going to be looking for all the inconsistencies in the Starfleet database about, like, for example, when I replaced the Starfleet officer, the original Captain Core, or Core and Core, see if I can find any of the inconsistencies that I would know about around this guy.
Give me a die roll on that right away. You're looking at transporter logs and phase variances.
Okay. And what is that going to be on?
You are going to use that as insight, because you have insight into that, and security.
All right.
To Sarah, you're going to have to keep this guy talking a whole bunch so he doesn't see what I'm doing.
Okay, that was an ace and a 2.
All right. Absolutely. It looks like he was an unregistered. You've traced him back. He was a engineer that was assigned to the Starbase in an exchange of engineers about 2 months ago. And that very first transporter log, he had the phase variance.
All right. So actually phase variance.
Yes.
That's
And
going to be.
you wouldn't know it if you weren't
lockdown of the
looking for
ship.
it.
That's going to be
Using-
immediate lockdown of the ship and a request of a secure meeting with the Commodore.
Okay. I'm going to bring the rope with me.
All right. As soon as we get there, I'm gonna be I'm gonna ask for the usual thing that Lupine would actually do, and say this is my background stuff to kind of give him a hint.
I'll clear everybody out of the room except you, me, and Arope.
Okay.
She's under orders to scan every member of the senior staff frequently, so she knows all your secrets anyway.
Because we're so paranoid.
Just a little paranoid. Commodore, we have a problem. Just looking back at the records of the saboteur, he has a phase variance. And I want to know what he knows.
Does the phase variance match to any of the places we've traveled to or encountered?
Did it?
It did, directly to yours. That's why you could see it.
Okay, so it matched mine.
Mm-hmm.
What are the Ephrosions doing in that in the Union of Planets universe?
Let's go ahead, and most of that information was on the Van Valken. So in order to get that information, either Core has to roll awesome here to go, oh yeah, I know what was going on, or you have to go digging deep into Federation archives using the Starbase and dinking around. So let's hope Core knows what the Ephrosions are doing. We don't know if he does or not. We are going to go ahead and do reason and command.
All right. That is a 4 and a 3.
All right. So the Ephrosions in your timeline, your alternate universe, I should say, have actually sided with the Cardassians, and they are an insurgent group inside Spock's Federation.
Ew.
Okay. Great. So I tell that to the Commodore.
Mm-hmm.
Captain, following the interrogation, let's verify and make sure this guy. When did the phase variance on the transport take place?
2 months ago, he came off of a freighter that had some engineers on it, and they signed up to do some engineering work with the Starbase's civilians. And he has managed to figure out to get himself a commission and on his ship.
Okay.
Oof.
So it takes 6 months for a person's phase variance to match the universe they're in. So we should
Correct.
be able to scan this guy and and be able to tell that he's been here for 2 months. Let's double
Correct.
check that. And if he is an operative, we are going to transfer him via shuttle to the Chaucer. Once we finish the interrogation, he goes into stasis. Into what do you call it? Cryogenics.
So he'll go into cryosleep.
There
Yes.
is one potential false negative here, which is he could have been here more than 6 months. We only know when he came here.
Correct. You got the two. He's still got it. So he's. You don't know if he's on the tail end of the 6 months. 2 months ago he still had phase variance.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Well, let's check. So 2 months ago is not when they swapped him. It's just that the transporter logs show a phase variance.
That's the first time that he used a transporter, a Federation transporter, where you go, oh, look at that.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Now, if you scan him, he still may have the phase variance.
We're gonna scan him.
Yeah,
all right.
for sure.
Who's doing the scanning? Are you
Europa.
doing it during the interrogation?
Do you want me to do it then?
Yes.
Okay.
Can
you want me to roll for
multitask
that? Oh, yeah.
Go ahead and multitask the psychic headbutt and the phase variance scan.
Okay.
So both of them we're looking at on the first one for your psychic headbutt is going to be control and command.
Control is a 7. Command is a 3. Ugh, my command is awful. And I have a 9 and a 2 on the die for that.
All right. So you're doing fine with your psychic headbutting. For your scanning, go ahead and do insight and medicine.
Insight's a 12. Medicine's a 5. A 4 and a 1.
All right. So you're doing fine. He no longer has a phase variance. So that at least tells you that he has been here, maybe 7 months then, some kind of thing like that, because, the 6 month thing.
Okay. Cool.
Let's track his movement for as far back as possible. But we are certain that this guy is an operative because of the phase variance in that transporter log.
There's no doubt about it.
What about, I can confirm that as well. Because
You can confirm that with your psychic headbutt. Now, how deep do you want to go? How much information? Because he's not from around here just because, let's say, for instance, when you do telepathy with people from this, and we dealt with this a couple seasons back.
Yeah.
When you deal with telepathy from these folks, it's weird. It's more, the colors change. The things, it's not quite the same for you to sync up.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I need very specific information. I need to know why he's sabotaging ships specifically and what his primary mission was to get him here.
All right. I'm going to roll his defense because he's actually been trained. And you know this when you go into his brain. And he's not doing so hot today. We got a 12 and a 16. I think you can see it.
Beautiful, yep.
Yep. So just don't botch.
Okay. All right, so you want me to roll for the first question?
Yeah, and in this case, you are going to do control, and you are going to do still command.
All right, so that's
You're trying to control your mind, and you're trying to command this information.
A 14 and an 8, so not as good as usual.
Yeah, but a 14 and an 8 still beats a 16 and a 12 with anything going on. So ask me one specific question.
I have to be super specific. What is your primary mission in our subset of space?
What you get back is flashes of memory, like you normally do.
Mm-hmm.
And specific mission, you see basically a pad that he was looking at that was to disrupt the Klingon Federation alliance.
Ooh, okay. That's bad. Okay. I'm gonna also see how long he's been here, just so we can kind of trace back and see how long he's been sabotaging things. An 8 and a 17.
8 and a 17. Let me do his. An 8 and a 17. We're looking at a 5 and a 16 there. So that information you're not going to dig into. You can push harder, but then you may start nose bleeding yourself, and you may start bonking him.
Okay. I mean, I can tap in. You know, even if he's in cryo, he's asleep. I can still poke in.
I have one more question. If I'm able to communicate to you what that is,
Yeah.
are we able to?
I would think that I would be broadcasting this information straight to you.
Okay, I want to know about other operatives if he knows.
Okay.
Roll your dice just to check yourself there, Joe. Make sure that you get a nosebleed or a headbutt.
Spill my coffee again.
Yeah, exactly.
What am I rolling? Control.
And this, you're going to
Command.
be doing presence and command.
Oh, lovely. Okay. A 12 and a 15. Can you see those okay?
Yep.
My presence and command. Hold on, let me put this down so I can have my arms back.
It would be bad if you went unarmed.
Yes. My presence and commands total to 16.
Okay.
So those are 2 successes, but nothing special about them.
But that's fine. You didn't at least blow them up or do a 20. So, yes, you guys can relay freely.
All right. Let me see if there are any other operatives. Still command and presence, or command and what?
And actually, I'm going to throw a couple other questions into chat, if you don't mind.
Yeah, it's going to be a control and command.
Control and command. All right. So a 7 and a 3. 9 and a 7. Any other operatives?
Team of 3.
Shit. Okay.
You know they normally roll in teams.
Yeah. So this is a team of 3. Dispatched to the same ship.
Try
That's
again.
19 and a 14. Nope.
And a 3 and a 9. Your psychic link is broke.
Okay.
You can try to go in, but that's going to start causing real damage.
What do you want to do?
I think we wait. We put this guy on ice.
Secured, right?
Yeah. Core, start that phase variant search for all fleet transports.
Yeah.
And if, did we determine when he got here?
I thought it was.
2 months ago?
Well, he no
No.
longer has a phase variance.
So,
So-
he's been
So
here more
it's
than
longer than 6 months.
Yep. But 2 months ago, he still had it.
How
Okay.
strong was it 2 months ago? We should be able to tell by the strength of it.
Almost degraded. So,
So it's about
basically
8 to
he's been
7 to
here.
8 months.
Yep.
Okay. Let's run searches on all Starfleet transporter records of all people involved in the task force and find out who else shows a variance.
That puts you right out when the Enterprise C pretty much was blowing up, and they were still figuring it out.
That would have been
A year and a half ago. So,
Yeah.
So he's coming in still after that. But when they started talking, and remember when you guys were dealing with it in real time 200 some odd days ago, the Klingons and the Fed were starting to talk. The Romulans didn't like that. You know, all that's starting to happen because of the Enterprise C.
Okay, gotcha. But let's look and see if any other crew have phase variances or transports, and let's find out who hasn't been through a transporter.
To pull all those records is going to take a lot of time if you're doing it based off of what's coming in and out of the starbase and every ship.
Let's focus on just these ships.
The Redemption and the fleet itself?
Yeah, just our task force.
Okay. Once again, the Corps picked up the phase variance at the starbase when he first, because you were able to track him back to all of his transporter logs.
Right.
But as far as the run and the Redemption and that, you're only going to pick up him residual barely, you know, when he was popping around a little bit. There's nothing else. So that team of 3, he was sent here separate on that transport.
So he was the Vanguard.
Let's go ahead and run that search over the starbase, and just the starbase, then.
Use the Chaucer sensors and scan the starbase and every ship in the task force. Scan every person and see if anyone has a phase variance, because if that guy came earlier than the others, they might still have phase variances.
Because of the warp core explosion, sensors are not going to be able to check the immediate area for that variance. The warp core breach caused an issue.
Mangled everything.
We
Can
should
we do it with
actually.
tricorders?
Even with tricorders, there's a lot of polaron radiation.
Okay.
We should
Yes.
try to still ask him some questions and see if we can shake him up a little bit, because we know they come in teams. And since we know what his mission was, maybe we can bluff him and say that, you know, we've got another person and we know that they're here to try and break this contract with the Klingon Empire. Where's the last one?
Excellent. Proceed.
Cool.
In the meantime, Core, you work on seeing if we can either get far enough away from the radiation of the explosion to run the scans, or do it by tricorder. You work on that angle, okay?
Roger.
So
Who's
are we
doing the
not-
interrogation?
Tassara
Sarah.
should do the interrogation
Do you want me
specifically.
to try to meld with him with a mind meld?
Ooh. Yes.
Do we have any legal limitations on that, Dustin?
In the chain of command that you are in currently, you need to think that the Admiral, he doesn't know what's going on. This is still under Rosa's purview.
Right.
So I don't know if you want to try to open up a channel with her or not, but
No, but I'm
Yeah.
asking: is there a Federation law which prohibits using a mind meld?
oh, absolutely for doing invasive searches like this, but that's only on other Federation citizens.
Well, fuck
This
this
ain't
guy.
a
go ahead.
Federation citizen.
Yeah.
I was going to make a comment that this person was not Federation.
Well,
Do it.
exactly. So
The
proceed.
problem, well, I mean, we'll have to prove that at some point, won't we?
This guy, he's not. He's
No, I
not
know.
going to be turned over to normal Starfleet channels. He's part of Task Force Project Iliad now. So,
What would you like me to roll?
He's going to be classified and locked away.
yes, exactly. Please proceed. And by the way, we will notify Captain Garavik that his saboteur is we have a code word for mirror operative Cardassians. That code word is Cassandra, and it's left over from Task Force Iliad. I'll make sure Garavik understands. Garavik is in the know on Task Force Iliad.
Yep. Yeah, definitely in the know. Planet busting, breaking, blowing up in the know.
Yes.
Yes. When you tend to blow up a planet, you tend to be in the loop on things that have a high security clearance.
I still love that they all have like Greek and Roman names. I think that's my favorite part of the whole Iliad project. So sneaky. Much wow.
All right, there, guy. Are you ready for a mind meld?
I am.
All right, let's actually look this one up in the rule book. Let's do this by the book, so to speak, as Savick would say. Because I don't think we've ever done it by the book, and now that we're broadcasting live for the whole world to see, let's do this one by the book.
Now's the time we choose.
However, I do not have a rule book, so someone else will have to look
Here
it up.
comes the Commodore for you.
He got
Let's see,
you.
I'm gonna have to
I'll look
prepare.
up mind meld.
Doom, doom, doom. Doom, 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 doom. Doom, 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 doom.
Mind meld 110.
Doom,
The
doom,
music
doom.
is so good.
You're ridiculous.
110?
110.
All right.
I think that's the racial ability.
It is.
Okay. This will always require a task with a difficulty of at least 1. It can be opposed by an unwilling participant. If successful, you link minds, share thoughts and memories. Momentum may be spent to gain more information or perform deeper telepathic exchanges. The link goes both ways. It is tiring and potentially hazardous. Complications can result in pain, disorientation, and emotional or behavioral difficulties.
Well, it's a good thing you brought a doctor.
So it's not that much different than what we've been doing with the Beta Z anyway.
Yeah, basically.
I'm always at risk.
No, but in this instance, it will be very obvious what we are doing. There will be no way
yeah.
to avoid
You-
knowing this is happening.
So, Sarah, you may add assistance if you choose.
I think that would be wise.
Would you like another Vulcan?
That would be appropriate, yes.
Do you have
Okay.
another Vulcan on the Chaucer who is cleared
Yes.
for Iliad?
Yes,
Dr.
I think.
Tehrani.
Yep.
Yeah, Tarani.
One of my babes.
Yeah. She's your other than Larna Beach, she's your senior most doctor,
Yeah. She's
and
bae.
we've used her on a bunch of classified stuff.
Mhm.
So how many
She's
dice
used
am
to
I
this
rolling,
shit.
and what should I be targeting? What's the mechanics of this?
It did not say, so it's GM's call on what the attributes and disciplines to use are.
Well, let's see. We're going to be doing, in this particular case, it's pretty much the same thing, that control and command. Because we don't need to deviate.
Too bad it's not control and security.
Security is not the case in this one because you're, yeah.
I'm just saying I would have a better chance of it. Now, how many dice am I rolling? The 2, can I call for momentum on this?
Yes.
So can I do 3 dice?
Yes.
Very well.
Oh gosh, do I not have a Tehrani character sheet?
I don't think we have a character sheet
He doesn't
for
look like
her
he's doing
because
very
she
good on
hasn't done
his
much
No,
physically.
that's why I put it there. That's what you're going against.
She's just been, she's like my 3rd in command.
Yeah. Well,
Unbelievable.
And that's probably
I
why.
have rolled 2 aces and an 11.
I found the character sheet for Tehrani if you need it.
With 2 aces, I don't think so.
My mind, my thoughts, to your thoughts. Our minds are merging. Our minds are one.
It was so
Tell me.
beautiful.
Are
With
you
2
the one
aces,
who
this
has
is with 2 aces.
sabotaged?
This is what you get.
Right. My mind, to your mind. My thoughts, to your thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm going to ask him.
And then you get the close up of, what do you want to do? You're scaring me.
If you cooperate, there is nothing to fear.
I'm going to do another die roll here. Yeah, with the 18 and 11.
Oh, he shot himself.
Just have a good time there. Just go.
I want to know if you are the one who sabotaged the Russell.
Yes.
Can you give me the identity of the other operatives
Yes.
and their locations?
Yes.
Very well. Now is a good time. Keep typing, Commodore. How does this mission correspond to the Klingon Federation alliance?
We are here to make sure the Khitomer Accords are broken and the Klingon Federation alliance never happens.
How did the summer sun get to the scientists first? And where are the scientists now?
Summer sun.
Indeed. Okay. So I can't actually relay this back to the Commodore until after we've broken the mind.
No, but I can.
But you can. So you
Okay,
can
okay. To Daisy Chain, I need a really good roll from you, Chelsea.
do not
Pray
make
for
all
me.
of us nosebleed.
Pray
Green
for me.
blood does not look good.
Pray for me or I'm gonna pass out. I might pass out. An 8 and a 16.
You might pass out.
I might pass out.
No, it's not. Go ahead and roll for me there, Tesara. You got some. So just don't flub. Don't get a 20.
2 dice.
Yeah.
Oh, 13 and a 4. Okay.
Okay. Everyone's good. Everyone's okay.
We've been in far worse situations.
And this is where the Commodore is getting me.
Mm.
Yes. It's a
back
little
all of a
bit.
sudden from Tesara.
Hashimoto's just sitting there like, what the fuck?
How does this work with this game?
No, I'm sipping tea. Going.
You would think
I
that
knew
after
these
this
people
time,
were weird.
every
It's
time
not a
the signal
surprise.
comes in,
Are you just not
Yeah,
wearing a
it's
shirt
now.
this time?
No,
Because-
it's red. It's okay if I spill things on it. I'm just drinking red tea.
make sure it's color
I
coordinated.
learned color coordinates now.
Very well.
You and Lupin are gonna have a discussion later.
I'll have a
Are there
bit.
any other questions that
And
we want to
tissues for
ask
the
of
nosebleeds.
our-
Yes, we want to identify the other operatives, find out where they are, who they are, and what they're doing.
Very well.
All right. So
Tell me
as
the names
GM,
of the operatives. And
Also-
their location.
Hello.
Also, we need to know when they got here.
How's it going?
And how long ago
so-
you have been here.
so as the GM was going to do kind of a truncated, shorter adventure just to get us rolling, making sure this all worked. And I didn't expect my operative to roll double 20s and blow up a warp core and get found. I will get back to you next week with all that detail, and
have all this information.
we'll roll. And I got a feeling we'll get some Mako boots on the ground, and all kinds of fun things will happen next week.
Woohoo! That's
Excellent.
actually super fun.
Perfect. Thank you. Bye.
I made
Yeah.
some rolls.
You guys do
I got
handle the
pregnant.
investigation very well.
That we have never used
Oh my
our
God,
tactical
Hunter.
officer's ability to mind meld as an interrogation technique.
We've never
How did
had
you get
to.
this far and not do that.
We've never had to.
I understand, but well, it's because usually you are more covert.
Yeah. I'm getting a little unstable. I'm getting a little too brash about it, and I probably
We
should.
ask a lot of Lupine,
Yeah.
a hell of a lot. And I'm hesitant on where I use Erope because she has the capability of going undercover. So I don't want that. I don't want her exposed to too many places.
Yeah,
I
it makes
haven't
more
been-
sense.
I feel like the tactics here are much more reasonable because anytime you're willing to do it wide open, you might as well use Tesara.
It's safer and more
It's a
reliable.
much safer way of dealing with it. A Vulcan mind meld is.
Oh,
Well,
especially when you roll aces.
The biggest
well,
thing for me and
were
Hashimoto
there
is that
any
Lupine and
kind of
Hashimoto.
questions out in the motor pool? Because I haven't even watched the feed.
I've been talking to Brent in the motor pool this entire game.
Cool.
And he's been making comments the entire time. It's been great.
I've been talking to a friend of mine as well.
He's been
I think-
saying taking a nice nap for us from when we put him into cryogenic storage, and now he's all about the mind meld, and so there's lots of. He's been very engaging. It's been great.
I was gonna say, wouldn't the one problem with the mind meld be that they also get information about you?
Yeah, but they don't, because Vulcans
Oh.
are very good about that, and so is Tassara.
And with these roles, no, didn't get any information.
I'm just saying that's
GM
the
was slacking
people.
today.
Risk.
Yeah, actually, usually my dice don't roll that good, so I was excited that I got 2 aces out of that one, especially since I used a momentum.
The big thing about Hashimoto using Lupine is that we're connected already, so it's easier for me to just flow that information to him. So it's more of a connection diagnostic, and it's getting better for me. And since we've trained together, it just made the most sense. So we've completely kind of forgotten about Tassara's abilities, you could almost say, because we're always doing stuff together, and then Tassara is cleaning up our messes as we go.
Very well played.
It's the 2 children and the parent. Like,
Yes.
God.
Like, we'll try
You would
first.
not
to
be
screw it
my
up.
first.
Sarah will clear it up.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Now, I have a question then for Rocky Mountain Geek Tank, and then all of us. Do we want to try to do this on a weekly basis coming up here, just to knock out some sessions? And because obviously this works, and now I know how to prep for this thing.
yeah, now that we're
I'm
rocking
okay
and
with
rolling,
that.
this is super fun, and this is super easy to cast. So,
I do believe that Brent is on board with it too. He's thumbs upping us.
I have a question related to that.
Hmm.
Some of my law enforcement motorcycle club riding buddies I have talked into trying tabletop gaming.
Oh.
If I can get a session of something together, do you guys want it recorded so that you can publish it, assuming that my guys will agree to that?
that'd be super fun. I'm always
I
up
think
for that.
everybody would be okay.
Are you guys gonna play a game of cops and robbers?
No. Too much work. I put them through-
Luna. Oh
that
my
would make us sad. You'd see us go into like flashbacks and
god. Oh no.
guys losing their temper.
PTSD issue. In a big
Yeah.
hurry.
I put them through a game setting, kind of a setting like ancient Greece, but a fantasy setting, and it went pretty well, and they dug it. So I'm
Nice.
trying a Deadlands in the near future with them.
Nice. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
That'd be
Okay,
super
we'll
awesome.
talk offline about that if you guys are interested in.
All
Cool,
good.
cool. Well, I'm gonna
Yeah.
roll credits then, you guys. We'll see you next Thursday. Hopefully, same time. We'll let you know if things change. We kind of got a lot of tech with all of us getting into here, so just kind of be patient. But we'll try and get everyone in as quickly as possible.
Before we roll next time, do you guys need to talk about any of the changes with conventions or any of that stuff, or do news, or you're not worried about that stuff anymore?
Not worrying about it currently. We're posting things as they come up, like DPCC canceling and that kind of thing. So we'll try and keep that news up just in post, so people have it in writing where they can easily find it. Because right now, getting news like that, it can be really stressful as it's buried in something like this, which is like an hour and 24 minutes of them waiting to get to news. So now we'll just post that.
Okay. Then what I'll do is I'll try to send some assets over to you there, Chelsea, on stuff that we're running, and try not to make it spoilery.
For sure. Yeah, and then
So
we also have
it
like
doesn't
a...
spoil you, but you know that you got them.
Yeah, that's perfect. Perfect.
Mhm.
Alrighty. Well, we will see you guys next week. Same bat time. Hopefully, same bat channel.